Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I want to show you a movie that I have seen before. I'm having 2008 financial crisis flashbacks. Watch this.
Anyway, some data on the state of the housing market just released. Let's get over to Diana Olick. She's looking through these numbers that we are watching ever so closely now. Diana, what have you learned?
Well, Becky, we just got the latest weekly mortgage applications report, another drop in demand, and this after a report yesterday showing a far wider than expected drop in sales of newly built homes. So I wanted to take a big step back and show you why this quick reversal in what was a red-hot housing market. The quick and sharp jump in mortgage rates, along with huge gains in home prices, are simply pricing buyers out. Take a look at what has happened just basically to the three.
Okay, you can see the chart. Bottom line is interest rates are going up and it's starting to lock up the housing market. This is similar to what happened in 2008 and all of that. But I think that we're set up for a much worse situation. This is from Gold Telegraph, breaking news. The world's biggest hedge fund says the United States economy is on the cusp of stagflation, and markets are yet to fully respond. You don't say own hard assets. Stagflation is a dreaded combination of high inflation and low growth. Inflation is running at its hottest for 40 years, and although growth is still holding up, many economists expect it to slow. Folks, my father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, always told me horror stories of the Jimmy Carter days. And unfortunately, Jimmy Carter is from Georgia. But to me, in history, he's one of the most disastrous presidents we've ever had. And I'm from Georgia, folks. In fact, my uncle helped Jimmy Carter get elected. He was involved in his campaign. But everybody agrees this guy was a freaking disaster. And I think what we're dealing with now is that on steroids. But look at this. On November 2nd, 1976, when Jimmy Carter defeated the incumbent President Gerald Ford to win the general election, gold was at $122.50 per ounce. 4 years later, in 1980, when Ronald Reagan defeated Jimmy Carter, gold prices had soared to a record $850 per ounce. There's a reason that I'm talking to you and that I've got as a sponsor, Glen, folks. I'm buying gold through back then in the Jimmy Carter days, your only option was to buy probably physical gold back then. Now, you can buy ETFs and all that, but that's not, you don't even know if that you actually have the gold. With a Glen account, it's your gold. And they're storing it I think it's under the airport in Zurich, Switzerland. But most importantly for me, it's spendable gold. I have my debit card, my debit Mastercard that I'm able to use. I also buy physical gold, which you can do through Glen too. I'll put a link to this in the top of the description if you want to check it out. Okay, check this out. Mastercard CEO SWIFT, the international interbank messaging system, won't exist in 5 years' time. Who is the one company on this planet Earth that has been talking about how we are in fact replacing SWIFT for years now? That would be Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse. Now, look at this. Kristen Smith from the Blockchain Association is hanging out in Davos with Danielle Dixon from Stellar. And great to see Danielle Dixon and the Stellar organization team at the Protocol Breakfast on crypto and sustainability. And I said, what about SEC versus Ripple case, Kristen Smith? Is your crypto trade association ever going to show any support for Ripple or John Deaton in his representation of over 67,000 XRP holders? Not a peep out of the Blockchain Association. And we will not let any of this, I'm going to remind everyone again, we will not rest, we will not let any of this go until there's a level playing field in crypto. And that's what organizations like the Blockchain Association should be working for, instead of working only on behalf of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Otherwise, they should change their name to the Bitcoin Ethereum Association. And so we won't let that go. And I'm about to show you something else that we won't let go. But first I wanted to mention this tweet, which I totally agree with. XLM and XRP are criminally underrated. That's a great phrase. And then there was this morning. This is Arianna Simpson, who's a .eth account, who's actually with Andreessen Horowitz, general partner at Andreessen Horowitz. Today we announced an A16 crypto fund 4. We've raised $4.5 billion, to invest in promising Web3 founders. Then she goes on, as Chris Dixon wrote, who blocked me because he did not like what I was showing, and he's also a .eth account. As he wrote, we think the golden era of Web3 is just beginning. Well, I'm going to show you more of the truth around this, okay? Because we will not let it go until there's a level playing field. And in my opinion, these people were some of the same people that were involved in trying to make this an unlevel playing field. And we have the timeline, we have the video in their own words, and I'm going to show you a little bit more of it today. This is, I'm not even going to play this video for time purposes, but we view CNBC, of course, teed Andreessen Horowitz up on this to talk about Web3. That's the same CNBC that won't talk about ETHgate, won't ask Jay Clayton any questions that are of any consequence, and instead of grilling Jay Clayton or Bill Hinman or any of these guys, they hired Jay Clayton as a contributor. That's how CNBC rolls. But they also tee things up for these guys. So let's show you what we know. This is Chris Dixon of Andreessen Horowitz at the beginning. Next you'll see Lowell Ness, his attorney, if you want to understand what really went on. Here we go. It's their own words, folks.
What am I most excited about, Web3? Yeah, look, I think it's I think the stakes are very high. I mean, it's the internet. I think that the internet's still in a very early phase, and the questions that the questions that we're discussing are how will this incredibly important invention be architected over the next whatever decades, 100 years? Where will the money and power flow? Who will control that? So it seems to me, just being, I think to me it's an incredible opportunity that I can be part of that, and that we all can be part of that, and that we can have this kind of impact. I didn't frankly expect to have this kind of size opportunity in my career. I lived through the first wave of the internet, and I feel fortunate to be now in this sort of third wave. And I think what's so important is it's a really fascinating technology and products and all the other kind of good stuff, but there's also a mission, right?
I'm sure Jay took it to heart. So Jay went on the warpath to these scathing speeches and calling out the industry and everybody. But he then, after talking to Grunfest in a fireside chat at the Stanford campus, made his way over to see Andreessen the next morning. And this is the part that now not a lot of people know.
Well, my question is, why do not a lot of people know? Why were these meetings held in secret? Why is the SEC creating policy in secret meetings instead of having all of the industry people together, and not just Ethereum and Bitcoin people? And this guy that represents Andreessen Horowitz.
And he invited Chris Dixon to round up the sort of the industry players who are really kind of trying to do it the right way, and asked for a couple of things. One, essentially, lay out in a very detailed, written, footnoted memo what existing law says about utility tokens, and two, give us a proposal for where to go from here. And so Andreessen, I've been representing Andreessen in all of their crypto investments since the beginning, and so I got the chance to be the one to write all that stuff. So, and I pulled in Cooley, and I pulled in a couple of law firms. So we've now got a nice little working group of law firms that are in the space that are doing this.
How will this incredibly important invention be architected over the next, whatever decades, 100 years? Where will the money and power flow? Who will control that?
Yeah. And so here's the timeline, just so you remember. On January 24th, Jay Clayton is speaking at Stanford University. Katie Hawn is in the front row and asks Jay Clayton a question. The very next day, Jay Clayton meets with Andreessen Horowitz. And at this meeting, Clayton appoints Chris Dixon, that guy you were just hearing talking. Chris Dixon to get the industry players together. It's at that point that, based on the video, it looks like Chris Dixon turned to Lowell Ness, Andreessen Horowitz's attorney for crypto, and said, "You go get the working group together." And then he goes and gets the working group together. He writes the safe harbor memo. That becomes the Ethereum free pass. And now you're watching all these people promoting Web3. And by the way, Chris Dixon is on the list. He's on the list of people who were in the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance from Empower that communicated with Bill Hinman May 2017, 2020. Remember, Bill Hinman then, after all this was over, and after he apparently did his job, he goes to Andreessen Horowitz. And Katie Hawn was there too, right? Remember, she's the one that sued Ripple back in 2015 when she was with or was involved in the settlement with the Justice Department. Okay. And then John Deaton, for some reason, sometimes John Deaton will comment on older things, and it's almost like he's trying to draw our attention to something. And so when I see that and my spidey senses go off, I tend to show it. He says, what was the basis for Joseph Lubin to believe that the SEC was not going to declare any other token sufficiently decentralized? In a separate video, he hinted that his source info was Bill. Bill is William Hinman. Listen to this. This is one of the shadiest clips that I've uncovered to date. This is from I found it September 6th, 2021.
So we are big friends and fans of that organization. I think they're really understanding the space well. They are applying this thing called securities law to business in America and other places, as they have done for many decades successfully. They're identifying fraudulent projects. They're identifying obvious transgressions of securities law, but they haven't had a heavy touch, really. They've been gathering information. They've been taking some actions. They've been very clear that they understand there is this new construct, this protocol-based open platform.
So you think they get it?
Yeah, we believe they get it. They've introduced a new construct, decentralization, into their thinking. So in addition to the Howey test, they have this new construct that they're seeing certain things in. So they consider the Bitcoin network and token and issuance mechanisms. They consider the Ethereum network token and issuance mechanisms to be decentralized, and therefore no transactions involving those particular assets are considered to be transactions of securities. They have not said the same thing about other tokens, the Ripple token, for instance, and they were clear that they were going to come out with statements to
slam the door. To slam the door is what he's trying to say.
Assess these different tokens, and I believe they've made all the statements about decentralization that they're going to make. And so,
how does he know that?
Bill Hinman, Director of Corporate Finance.
Let me tell you what, folks, if this guy doesn't face some kind of fire, we don't have a country anymore. This guy needs to answer some questions in front of Congress at a minimum. And if we don't have Congress people, Warren Davidson, if we don't have Congress people who understand that to have any kind of trust in our government anymore, that this guy doesn't need to be in front of you answering questions, what he was up to, and what did he know, what was going on behind closed doors. He obviously knew. To me, the guy obviously knew what was going on at the SEC. He was being told. Then he hints that he knows that they're not going to make any more statements. How does he know all of this? And he's almost giddy, and it's almost like he knows something about what they're going to do to Ripple too, because he's almost giddy about it.
Very clear about what you can do and what you can't do, and decentralization is a new element.
You know what? My other question in this is Well, you know what blows my mind about all this SEC stuff is this is supposed to be one of the most important agencies in the United States. And we have an agency full of people that are so stupid that they think they can trust this guy to have all of this knowledge. I could spend 2 minutes with this guy and know that he runs his mouth too much and that I couldn't trust him on anything. These people had him behind closed doors without doing any of the research we've done to show you what he said. Are you kidding me? That's one of the most powerful agencies in the United States. Are you kidding me? And by the way, I have another whistleblower alert, because remember, Gary Gensler told us very specifically he was going to go after Coinbase Lend because lending, that is a security. He said it very clearly. He said it was very clear. Well, guess what? Joseph Lubin, as recently as yesterday, I found this clip yesterday on YouTube. The first part shows you about how SEC was going after Coinbase Lend. The next part shows you Joseph Lubin bragging about how you can stake Ethereum 2.0 and all this. Just listen. They threatened Coinbase Lend, but as I speak, they have done nothing to Joseph Lubin or Ethereum or done anything to go after them. Listen.
Coinbase wants to launch a new type of interest-earning account called Coinbase Lend. Now, Lend would earn a 4% annual percentage yield, which it says is 8 times the national average for high-yield savings accounts. But the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, has said no without explaining why.
So before launching the same sort of interest-bearing account that peers like BlockFi and Gemini already offer, Coinbase asked the SEC first. Good, right? But that's where things get problematic. The SEC said no to Coinbase's accounts, that they qualify as securities.
Interestingly, we're, in terms of going mainstream, I think the merge is going to do that. I think there's going to be a tremendous separation of Ethereum from, in a sense, from the rest of the ecosystem, but it'll hold the ecosystem along. And the Ether token, we talked about ultrasound money. The Ether token is giving off yield, and it is deflationary, and so it's being burned in transactions. It's being frozen, staked in the protocol, staked in DeFi and DAOs and other systems, and so the supply-demand dynamics are really interesting because supply is being pulled off the market, and the issuance in proof of stake, because it's so much less expensive to run, the issuance is going to be about 1/10 of the regular issuance of during proof of work. So it looks like the token is going to be experiencing very interesting supply-demand dynamics, and institutional investors are starting to notice that it represents something like a perpetual bond, that there's an income stream. They can see that as a financial instrument that fits into their models, and so we're hearing a lot of interest from institutional investors to jump into the foundations of I guess the new trust fund.
That sounds like that's. Let me tell you a couple of things I've learned about Joe. Anyway, he's talking about their expectation of profits. Let me tell you 2 words that mean things in what Joseph Lubin, he beats the drum. He calls it the New Trust Foundation. That's one of the things that. Now remember, this is the guy that says you can create your own reality. I've shown you an article. He says you can create your own reality using words. Okay, he that's one of his things. He's into that. Well, there's 2 phrases that he uses that I picked up on because words mean things. There's 2 things he says over and over and over because this is him trying to create his own reality. The first is New Trust Foundation. That's what he calls Ethereum. Now think about this for a minute. He claims that he's creating a new trust foundation, and that new trust foundation was started with an ICO that he helped disguise well. So he's asking you to believe him that he's got a new trust foundation that's built on things that are hidden. And then they did the Ethereum Free Pass, which was secret meetings behind closed doors. It was leaked. Nancy Wotas said that Andreessen Horowitz wanted them to keep it quiet, and it was leaked, okay? So this, quote, new trust foundation is built on secrecy, okay, to this day. Nobody knows who bought in that Ethereum ICO to this freaking day. The other word he loves to use is ultrasound money. This is him trying to create his own reality. What it actually is, because of all the secrecy and the hidden whales, and that nobody's ever found out who they were, what it actually is, because I deal in truth, I don't deal with BS and creating own reality, because there's another word for that, it's called lying, okay? I deal in the truth, and the truth is that it's ultra shady money. And so that will go on my thumbnail, okay? Because that's what it is. It's ultra shady money. And it's not a new trust foundation. It's a new lie foundation, okay? That's what it really is. I mean, I have had it up to here with this guy's BS. I've never seen anything like it. Okay, I wanted to hit something real quick because it's very important. We're seeing a lot in this World Economic Forum thing. Now this is an older World Economic Forum clip here. This is from back in 2021. But so when I saw Brad Garlinghouse interacting with Jeremy Allaire, which is USDC, he's from Circle, and which they have USDC, which runs on Stellar, it reminded me of this clip from a year or so ago where Dixon from Stellar is handing it off to Brad Garlinghouse. I'm not going to play the whole clip.
I thought maybe you could have the floor on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, that was the first time that I had seen an interaction between people from Stellar and the people from Ripple. Okay. And then we've seen now that at the World Economic Forum, you have Jeremy Allaire from Circle, you have Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple, you have Dixon from Stellar. They're all there. And the Dogecoin founder is not there. The Shiba Inu founder is not there. Of course, you can't know who the Shiba Inu founder is because it's built on Ethereum and everything in there is supposed to be secret so that you don't know, right? I think we've shown you who we think it is. All right, and then this comes out, IMF. Listen to this clip.
We are advocating to think about this world of digital money as a global public good. And in a recent discussion in Zurich, where we both were, what we advocated for is to have a public platform. So when protocols are agreed, this public platform can connect different CBDCs. There can be interoperability, the same way you would transfer euros from one country to another. You do it using CBDCs.
Now, what does that sound like to you? And this guy says it right. It can't be clearer than this. Ripple XRP as global public good, connect all CBDs. The future is here. And I put together a little clip. Does my 9-year-old need to draw you a picture? Now, the first part is what you just heard, okay?
CBDCs,
but it's going to bleed into
CBDC.
It's going to bleed into a couple of videos that were found by Bank XRP and Real Boy XRP. Watch this.
One country to another, you do it using CBDCs.
I think in a world like that, what will increasingly gain more importance is interoperability, essentially, and that's one of the things we're heavily investing in at Ripple as well. We have created a private version of the XRP ledger, which allows central banks to kind of issue the CBDCs. And manage them, and we see that the sort of digital asset XRP to act as a bridge currency to allow this interoperability and liquidity across all sorts of these kind of, let's say, digital assets and fiat across the world. So I think, I think the regulation and policy should create that environment where all of these coexist and give people and businesses choice to use the right one for the right purpose.
XRP Ledger's hyper-efficiency and liquidity enables developers globally to support numerous use cases from DeFi, payments, consumer applications, and you don't need anybody's permission to interact with the XRP Ledger, right? It's a public good. It's an open source, decentralized, there aren't administrators. You just submit transactions and everybody who participates executes them. It's so fast and so simple. I'm not making this up. I've had developers contact me with concerns when everything was fine because their payments were so fast, so cheap and easy. They were concerned that they couldn't possibly be doing it right. They're like, wait, no, it says it's confirmed. I must not have checked right because it's only been a couple of seconds. No, it's that fast. It's that cheap. It's that easy.
We are advocating to.
And so let's finish this up. Well, I was going to show you this. Anyway, flashback, folks. Kendra Hill, look, right here. Stellar Lumens will become the world currency while XRP becomes a store of value. The Lumen is digital silver, XRP is digital gold. Purpose of XRP is to be used in the derivatives market while also acting as a store of value. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. XRP, XLM, and I don't know, folks, but